Let me tell you something, ladies. A man will chase you for a moment if you're beautiful. He'll chase you for a while if you're sexy. But if you want a man to chase you for life, you've got to reach him somewhere deeper. I'm talking about reaching that part of him that very few people ever get to. His soul, his spirit, his ambition. See, real men don't stay for looks. Real men stay for value. And if you show a man value, not just what you bring to the table, but how you carry yourself, how you respect yourself, how you inspire him, that man is going to chase you like his future depends on it. A real man doesn't stay because of a pretty face. That might get his attention, but it won't hold it for life. What holds a man for life is how a woman makes him feel about himself when he's with her. Men are driven by purpose, by respect, by validation, but not in the way most people think. It's not about a woman complimenting his muscles or saying he's handsome. It's deeper than that. It's about when a man looks at his life and realizes that since meeting her, he's become a better version of himself. He starts walking straighter, thinking clearer, moving with more purpose, and he knows deep down she was the reason. That's when he begins to chase, not just because he wants her, but because he needs her energy in his life. You see, most women are taught to attract men with appearance, charm, or by playing a little hard to get. But attraction is temporary. Real love, lifelong love, is built on connection and growth. When a woman stands on her standards, she instantly separates herself from the crowd. She's not desperate, not thirsty, not begging for attention. She's focused on her own life, building her own goals, doing her own thing. And that, to a man who's ready for more than just games, is magnetic. It tells him, if I want her, I've got to bring something real to the table. A woman like that doesn't make it easy, not because she's playing games, but because she knows her worth. And a man will chase that, not because she's withholding, but because she's whole without him. A woman who brings peace in a world full of chaos is unforgettable. When a man steps outside, he's dealing with stress, pressure, expectations. When he comes home, the last thing he wants is more war. The woman who becomes his calm, his comfort, his peace. She becomes sacred. You don't let go of someone who gives you that. She doesn't nag, doesn't create unnecessary drama, doesn't disrespect him. She understands how to talk to him, not at him. She understands timing, tone, and space. She becomes the person he can breathe around. That's rare. That's valuable. That's life-changing. And once a man experiences that, he'll chase it like a man who found water in the desert. It's not about giving him everything. It's not about doing the most. A woman who's chased for life knows how to let a man rise to the occasion. She doesn't beg. She doesn't plead. She gives him space to lead. She inspires him without controlling him. And the more she does that, the more he wants to earn her respect, her affection, her loyalty. Men don't value what's handed to them too easily, but give a man a reason to work for it. A woman with self-discipline, with grace, with ambition, and he'll go all in. Because in a world full of distractions, he knows he's found someone who stands out simply by staying in her lane and staying true to herself. You'll remember how she made him feel. Respected, capable, driven. A woman like that doesn't compete. She doesn't chase. She's busy becoming her best, and that makes him want to step up. Because love isn't just about how you feel in the moment. It's about how much better your life becomes with the right person beside you. The woman who gives that kind of growth is the one who gets the lifelong pursuit. It's not just love, it's admiration, it's trust, it's a bond that makes a man say, whatever I have to do, I want to keep this woman in my life. She doesn't tolerate disrespect, and that alone commands attention. She knows when to walk away. She knows that her value isn't tied to whether a man stays or leaves. And that strength, that's what makes a man come back, even when he thought he was done. Because real men aren't afraid of strong women. They crave them. Not loud strong, not aggressive strong, but that quiet, calm, unshakable strength that says, I know who I am. I know what I want, and I won't settle for less. The chase doesn't come from being unavailable. It comes from being uncompromised. That's the difference. She's emotionally intelligent. She knows how to communicate, how to listen, how to handle disagreement with maturity. She doesn't embarrass her man in public. She knows when to speak and when to be silent. She knows that connection is about depth, not just drama. And because of that, she creates an environment where a man can be real, vulnerable, honest. He can drop the mask. And when a man can drop the mask with you, that's where the chase turns into commitment. A man may try to act tough, but deep down, he's looking for safety, not just physical safety, but emotional safety. He wants to know that when he's at his weakest, you won't use it against him. That when he's failing, you won't throw it in his face. That when he's lost, you remind him of who he is. And if you can be that for a man, not his mother, not his boss, but his partner, he'll chase you with a loyalty that won't waver. Because now it's not about games, it's about partnership. It's about life. And let's be real, every man remembers the one who got away, but he never forgets the one who made him a better man. The one who saw his potential and didn't let him stay average. The one who had her own life, her own dreams, but still had room in her heart for him. The one who never tried to fix him, but believed in his ability to fix himself. That's the woman he'll compare everyone else to. That's the woman he'll chase even after the honeymoon phase is over. That's the woman he'll fight for, even when things get hard, because her love wasn't based on what he did, it was based on who he became in her presence. That she's not perfect, but she's authentic. She's present. She shows up with love, with loyalty, with laughter. She's the woman who doesn't just enter his life, she transforms it. And because of that, he'll chase her for life. Not because she asked him to, not because she pressured him, but because when he looks at her, he sees everything he ever wanted and never thought he'd find. That kind of woman can't be replaced. That kind of woman becomes the dream. And once a man tastes that, he'll spend a lifetime chasing it just to make sure it never leaves his side. When a man sees something rare in a woman, he doesn't just pursue it for a moment. He sets his sights on it for life. What draws a man in and keeps him chasing is not always loud, obvious, or even physical. It's often subtle, deeply rooted in the way a woman carries herself, how she holds her standards, how she walks through the world without needing constant validation. That's what gets inside a man's mind. That's what lingers long after the initial attraction fades. When a man finds a woman who knows her worth and refuses to compromise it for temporary attention, he can't help but chase her. Because she becomes a reflection of everything he didn't know he needed. You don't have to scream to be powerful. A woman with quiet confidence, who moves with grace and certainty, commands a room without saying much. She doesn't beg for affection. She doesn't seek approval, and she doesn't compete. She focuses on growing, learning, building her life, and in doing so, she naturally separates herself from the crowd. That energy draws a man in. He starts to think about her differently. He starts to ask himself questions. Why can't I stop thinking about her? Why do I feel like I need her energy around me? Because that kind of woman doesn't just appeal to his eyes, she speaks to his soul. Men are naturally wired to pursue, but that pursuit has to be sparked by more than just desire. Desire comes and goes. It's easy to want someone. What's hard is staying interested when life gets tough, when the newness fades, when the distractions come. And the kind of woman a man chases for life is the one who offers more than physical presence. She offers substance. She challenges his thinking. She expands his vision. She brings something into his life that no one else has. Emotional depth, spiritual grounding, mental stimulation, and genuine care. That kind of presence is unforgettable. There's something magnetic about a woman who knows how to carry herself in silence. She doesn't need to clap back at every insult. She doesn't need to announce every move she's making. She lets her actions speak. She handles herself with class, even when disrespected. That restraint, that discipline, shows maturity. It tells a man that she's not desperate for love, that she knows what she brings to the table. A man can't help but chase that, because that kind of woman makes him want to rise. She challenges his character just by being consistent with hers. A woman who is emotionally grounded is a sanctuary. She doesn't allow her emotions to control every conversation. She doesn't attack, she listens. She creates space for real communication. She makes a man feel safe, not judged, not belittled, but heard. When he messes up, she corrects him with grace. When he wins, she celebrates him without envy. That balance is what builds trust. That's what makes a man feel like this is the woman I want on my side forever, not just in good times, but through storms. Because he knows she's not going to fold when things get hard. A lot of women think they have to overextend themselves to be chosen. But the woman who's chased for life doesn't overgive, doesn't overprove. She stays in her lane. She supports when it's earned. She gives love when it's reciprocated. And she stays away from trying to fix broken men. That's powerful. A man will chase a woman who has the strength to let go of anyone who doesn't meet her energy. He'll chase him because he realizes she doesn't need him. She chose him. That's different. When a man knows you want him but don't need him, it ignites something in him. He wants to earn his place in your life every single day. She knows how to be soft without being weak. She nurtures with care, but she also sets firm boundaries. She doesn't allow just anyone into her space. She protects her peace. She doesn't expose all her vulnerabilities to people who haven't earned it. That's the kind of woman a man respects, because when she finally lets him in, he knows it means something. It wasn't random. It wasn't out of loneliness. It was intentional. And he will chase that level of intentionality because he understands how rare it is. The world is full of people playing games, wearing masks, pretending to be something they're not. But the woman who is authentic, consistent, and emotionally present stands out in ways that go beyond words. A man may not even be able to explain why he's drawn to her, but he'll feel it. She doesn't manipulate. She doesn't force. She just shows up with love, with self-respect, and with a spirit that elevates everything around her. That's why he chases her. Because when he's around her, he sees more clearly. He feels more deeply. He becomes more intentional. And once a man has felt that level of connection, nothing else compares. A man will chase you for life when he sees that you're not just another woman looking to be loved, but a woman who already knows how to love herself. That confidence, that internal peace, that knowing of your worth, it's magnetic. He can sense that you're not desperate, not seeking validation, not waiting for someone to complete you. That shifts everything. When a woman walks with that energy, a man can't help but notice. She doesn't have to do the most. She doesn't have to beg, prove, or perform. She's just in her power. And that presence alone makes her unforgettable. There's something about a woman who doesn't flinch under pressure. Life can get loud. Relationships can get complicated. But the woman who keeps her composure, who stays kind even when misunderstood, who doesn't let her emotions lead her into chaos, she becomes a man's peace in a world full of stress. And that peace, that's the thing he'll crave again and again. He'll chase it. Because when you become a man's calm, when you give him space to be vulnerable without judgment, you give him something he can't find everywhere. The world wants men to be strong, to be tough, to never cry. But the woman who makes space for softness, who lets him drop his guard without fear, that's the woman who touches his soul. And it's not just emotional safety, it's also how she inspires him without even trying to. A woman who's focused on her growth, who's building something, who wakes up with purpose, who's got goals she's chasing. That woman lights a fire in a man because now he doesn't just see her as beautiful. He sees her as powerful. He sees her as something rare. He starts to think differently when he's around her. He doesn't want to let her down. He doesn't want to miss his moment. Because when a woman has direction, when she's got her own thing going on, she reminds a man of his own potential. She makes him want to become more, not because she asked him to, but because just being around her pushes him higher. There's a difference between needing a man and choosing him. The woman who's chased for life knows the power of that difference. She doesn't beg for time or attention. She doesn't wait by the phone. She's living her life, and she's willing to walk away if her standards are not met. That strength is what pulls a man in. He knows she's not afraid to be alone, and because of that, he wants to be the man who earns a place beside her. He's a fair police platoon, the run-of-the-mill, a villain, a defeaters. That kind of woman forces a man to be intentional. She makes him step up, speak clearly, show respect. She doesn't entertain confusion. She doesn't accept inconsistency. She doesn't lower her standards just to say she has someone. And that sets her apart from the rest. The woman who knows how to give love and also knows when to pull back isn't cold. She's wise. She doesn't chase after a man who's not showing up for her. She gives energy to those who give it back. And that maturity is what makes a man look at her and say, she's different. It's not just about what she does. It's how she carries herself. She's nurturing, but she's not naive. She's soft, but she's not weak. She believes in love, but she doesn't believe in settling. She doesn't let her loneliness trick her into accepting less than what she deserves. That kind of emotional discipline creates mystery, depth, and respect. And a man will chase that forever because he knows he may never find it again. When a woman supports a man without losing herself in the process, he sees her value in a deeper way. She encourages him, but she also holds him accountable. She reminds him of his greatness without letting him forget his responsibilities. And she does it all without nagging or tearing him down. She speaks with love, with clarity, with wisdom. She's the kind of woman who doesn't scream to be heard. She speaks once, and it speaks with him. I think that balance between love and standards, patience and power, grace and boundaries, that's what makes her unforgettable. She shows up for herself first. Her happiness doesn't depend on who's in her life. It's rooted in who she is. And when a man witnesses that, he realizes he's found someone who doesn't just want love, she deserves it. He sees that being with her is a privilege, not a favor. And once a man truly feels that, he'll do whatever it takes to hold on to it. He'll pursue her not just because he likes her, but because he sees his future with her. And he knows that if he doesn't give her the love, effort, and commitment she deserves, someone else will. That fear of losing her, mixed with the deep respect he has for her, keeps him chasing, not out of fear or pressure, but out of pure admiration. When a woman knows how to emotionally connect with a man without trying to control or change him, that connection becomes unforgettable. Most people think men just want physical things, but what keeps a man coming back, what makes him chase a woman for life, is that sense of emotional alignment. It's when he feels like he can be himself around her without being judged. She doesn't force him to open up. She creates space where he wants to. Her energy feels like home, like a place where he doesn't have to prove himself to be accepted. That kind of emotional safety is rare. And once a man finds it, he will keep coming back for it again and again. What separates this kind of woman from the rest is not how she looks or what she wears. It's the way she makes a man feel when he's with her. She doesn't talk down to him. She doesn't try to manipulate him with games or guilt. She doesn't embarrass him in front of others or remind him of his past mistakes. Instead, she sees him as a whole person. She sees his weaknesses and doesn't weaponize them. That kind of presence gives a man the courage to grow. It gives him the confidence to chase his purpose. And once he associates that growth with her presence, he won't want to let her go. She's not perfect. She doesn't try to be, but she's real. She doesn't pretend to be someone she's not just to impress him. She's consistent. She's honest. She says what she means and means what she said. That alone makes her stand out in a world where too many people are afraid to be genuine. She doesn't follow trends. She follows truth. She trusts herself, even if she stands alone. And that kind of woman, that level of self-assurance, becomes a magnet to a man who's tired of shallow connections and surface-level attention. A man will chase a woman who knows how to be strong and soft at the same time. The one who holds him accountable but does it with love. The one who encourages his dreams but also challenges his excuses. She's not impressed by potential. She's moved by progress. She wants to see him win, but she won't carry him there. She'll stand beside him, not in front of him, not behind him. She becomes his partner, his mirror, his reminder. And once he realizes that her presence in his life is making him better, stronger, more focused, he'll move heaven and earth to keep her. She doesn't have to prove anything to anyone. She's not looking for attention. She's not trying to compete. She understands that being a good woman isn't about showing off. It's about showing up. And she shows up for herself every single day. She takes care of her mind, her spirit, her peace. She's not on a chase of people who don't see her worth. She knows that the right man won't need to be convinced. She'll recognize her value and act accordingly. That calm confidence, that quiet strength, that steady spirit. It's the very thing that makes a man stop in his tracks and think, I can't lose her. And it's not just about the good days. A man falls deeper in love during the hard moments, when things get tense, when life gets messy. And she doesn't run, doesn't explode, doesn't shut down. She talks things through. She's patient but not passive. She speaks her truth but with care. She listens to understand, not just to respond. She's not interested in winning arguments. She's focused on building the relationship. That maturity, that emotional awareness, that heart-centered communication, it makes her unforgettable. Because she's not trying to be right all the time. She's trying to be connected. The woman who knows how to make a man feel seen, heard, and appreciated without losing herself in the process is the one he chases for life. Because the truth is, men want to be needed, but not in a way that drains them.